It means a lot to Christian McCaffrey, and it means a lot to Tatum Bethune and a lot of other guys in that room. And that's where it starts. Because if it doesn't mean a whole lot, then you don't get as much. But when it does mean as much as it means to these guys, they're going to show up, and they did show up tonight. It was huge.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, this one felt, I think, what the game plan was coming into the season with heavy run game, lean on McCaffrey, even Brian Robinson gets 9 carries, figure out the wide receiver position. The wide receiver is just 7 catches for 60 yards tonight. So that piece still, I think, can get better, and it will with Pearsall coming back and Ayuk. But I think this was the team we expected, run heavy, not throw it 40 times like we've seen with Mac Jones. But tonight they established the run and were able to impose their will on the team. And on the defensive side, like you said, slow down and really even stop Bijan Robinson, who looked unstoppable Monday night.
Yeah.
Can I say something about
Please
Mac
do,
Jones?
yeah.
He is their backup quarterback 100%. He is not Brock Purdy, but I don't think he's a backup quarterback, if that makes sense. I think he's been really impressive in the time that he has been here, and I think he deserves a lot of credit for that because I think teams do look at, they're on their backup quarterback, not a backup quarterback. And so I just want to give Mac Jones credit on that.
Well, I think we had this discussion on Dirty Work. I mean, they've got to be the best quarterback, if not the second best quarterback situation in football, being that the Falcons have Kirk Cousins. You've got a starter sitting on the bench there too. I mean, that's kind of how I see it. Matt Jones was fantastic. Do we expect Brock makes the return next week? Is that the direction we're headed?
Yeah, I do think he's coming back next week. I wouldn't bring him back next week. I'd give him a long period of time to heal, but I think he is going to play next week. And then we'll see where it goes from there. But I totally second what Tracy just said about Mac Jones. I mean, I asked George Kittle. I thought the soundbite of the post game to me was when I asked Kittle about you guys seem like a gritty team. You've been on a bunch of different teams. How would you have kind of evaluate the grit? And he kind of took it and ran with it and started talking about Mac Jones. And he just started talking about Mac Jones stepped in for Brock Purdy, and he is super impressive, and he is. And he's got, it's like, can you strike a right chord? It's like, well, there's a lot of wrong chords, but Mac Jones is striking the perfect chord. He's doing all the right things. He's saying all the right things. I mean, literally, he knows it's Brock Purdy's deal. Quarterback situations can fracture the team.
Yep.
He's totally aware of that. Maybe that's from playing in Boston near, Bristol and ESPN. He kind of is aware of the fishbowl thing and playing at Bama. But this guy is gritty. He's tough. He's saying all the right things. He's loose at practice. The guys really like him. Yeah, I agree with Tracy. It's Brock. This is Brock's team. But man, and I asked Kyle about it too. Mac Jones has got to be one of the stories of the year in the NFL. I already think that Mac Jones looks way better than Sam Darnold ever looked. And Sam Darnold rolled from last year into a beautiful contract situation. Mac Jones, I think all that's coming for him.
To be fair, we also never got to see Sam Darnold in this situation. We saw one start of him. And then when we did get to see him in a situation where he got an opportunity, it appeared that he had made that jump and developed to the point that he's at right now in Minnesota in a very similar offense. Tracy, is it as simple as George Kittle's return to the run game? Because we joked before the game, like, it can't just be plug him in and you're going for 200 on the ground, and they basically almost did, and he didn't touch the football. Well, it can't be that simple, though.
In theory, no, but I think Christian said it. It just, his presence on the field, Christian said a great line. He strikes fear in the hearts of coordinators. Yeah. And his presence on the field just changes how teams plan for the 49ers. And he just, and Mac Jones said the same thing, even without the statistics, I don't know if it's as simple. However, they haven't been able to get the run game going, and George Kittle returns and they get the run game going. Yeah. So maybe that and the combination of having him and a healthy Juwan Jennings. But I'm going to give a lot of credit to Kittle on this. He's a tremendous run blocker. He loves run blocking. He absolutely loves it, and you can see it. And again, just his presence, they don't know what they're going to do with him. And so now they have to, keep eyes on all kinds of people. And so I do think it's a big part of it.
Kirk, do we find anything out about this team's identity? I mean, are they a good run-stopping team? Is it just purely they're resilient and they find ways to win?
It's a great question, Copes. I think this team's kind of still figuring out who they are.
It's
right?
weird, right?
Because
7
it's like
games in, yeah.
you didn't have Bosa, you didn't have Warner, but then now it's about like John Lynch and the personnel department and how well did you draft? And it's like, hey, Tatum Bethune steps in, he plays well. Tonja steps in, he plays well. Colby steps in, he plays well. Hennessy steps in, he played well. So now you're going to find out. That old saying, it's a team, it's a team. Well, the next man up theory, it's all about who is that next man up, and is the next man up any good? And thanks to Lynch in this front office, this has been one of the deeper rosters. And look at the guys that they're calling in there. This Tatum Bethune story wouldn't have happened if just Tatum Bethune was anybody. He's a good player. And he was just sitting there waiting for his opportunity, and it came today. So I think the depth of this roster is going to be highlighted with some of these injuries.
I think it's interesting they're finding different ways to win.
Yeah.
Right? It's Kendrick Bourne has a couple huge weeks, and then it's Christian McCaffrey is able to run the football, and the defense steps up and makes some big stops. Still waiting for the special teams to make some big plays.
Malik Turner, special team superstar.
Malik Turner might need to play outside linebackers.
Well, yeah, Matt Lively said that. Matt Lively said he learned to play linebacker, buddy.
Yeah, you got to figure that out.
So different people seem to be stepping up each and every week and making big plays, and I think that goes to your point, the depth that they have, and maybe it's not an identity. Maybe the identity is they're just a really good team. They're tough to beat. They force the opposition to make a lot of big plays, and bend but don't break. They're not creating turnovers, I think, which is still got to figure that part out. But they're finding different ways to win each and every week.
Feels to me like they're going to play their way into being aggressive at the trade deadline. Like they're going to play their way into needing to make a move to sort of help out whatever the young guys are building towards right now.
They're well coached. That's the other thing, too. I mean, Robert Saleh comes over. Robert Saleh's a really good football coach. Gus Bradley's in the locker room hugging guys. And it's like Gus Bradley was the kind of the creator and the originator of the Legion of Boom. He's a big-time football coach. Yeah. And then you got Kyle, and you got some really good coaches on the offensive side. Boyer on special teams. Obviously, we're hoping for that to go make a step forward. But I think this is maybe one of the better coaching staffs, top to bottom, that has been here during this Shanahan-Lynch regime.
Let's get you the injury report sponsored by Habas Law. They'll fight to make it right. Visit habaslaw.com. Fingers crossed the injury news will all be positive tomorrow, but not a lot to report home today. We know with the toe injury, Renardo Green left early in the game, did not return. We know that Jake Brendel had a hamstring issue and left the game. Matt Hennessy played pretty well. Nothing else, right? Juwan, I saw limped off the field at one point. I think he returned to the game after that.
Yeah, we were not told anything else.
I just assume Juwan's kind of always hurt. Unless he's going to add to the rib total.
Well, per Juwan.
Want to add to the rib total, go for it. But I didn't have anything else on that. Pretty good in terms of the injury report, yeah?
Yeah, I would say pretty good in terms of the injury report.
And trending towards Ricky and Brock back next week is the thought.
You never know. Anytime you play football, everybody, gets in, rolls in, into the locker room. They change, they go home. All of a sudden, tomorrow, you never know. But it appears that they've dodged a bullet as far as injuries tonight. The Brendel one's actually pretty big, right? Because he's your center, he's your line caller, he calls protections, but they are fortified there with Drake Nugent on the practice squad, with Hennessy, who's an NFL starter, with Zakel. They've got some guys at center. So, overall, good win. Nobody, no surprise injuries, at least that I've heard thus far.
You can hear Larry Krueger all week long on Niners Nightly, 6 to 7, weeknights right here on the Sports Leader Plus on the Krug Show, wherever and whenever, every hour of the day. That's the way it goes. Krug, thanks for joining us, man.
Good seeing you guys.
Adam Copeland, Todd Husak, Tracy Sandler with you, live from Levi Stadium with you for about another 40 minutes or so as the 49ers beat the Atlanta Falcons. We got more to come on this one. We'll get Tracy's thoughts about what she heard and saw in the locker room and what she heard from 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan. Was this the biggest win of the season? We'll talk more about that next as George Kittle returns and Christian McCaffrey dominates the Niners, move to 5-2 on the Sports Leader.
I had so much fun playing football. It's Sunday night football in Levi Stadium, so I basically told the team, I was like, if you don't have fun tonight, then you don't have a pulse and you shouldn't be in this locker room. And I definitely felt the pulse tonight from the entire team and just felt the juice the entire way. You know, offense, defense, special teams. I felt it. I mean, how fun is Eddie? Goodness gracious, just how fun is he? I absolutely love that guy. Great locker guy. But yeah, no, I would love to catch the football once in a while. Hey, when it happens, it happens. When it doesn't, it is what it is. But when you can run the ball 37 plus times, it's a fantastic night. And I think we were moving the heck out of them. We were physical, and we played 49ers football tonight.
Undoubtedly, the voice of George Kittle returned to the 49ers today. Loves playing football under the lights at Levi Stadium. How do you not enjoy playing football on Sunday Night Football? It's always nice when you get a win, too, 20-10 over the Atlanta Falcons as Kittle returns and Christian McCaffrey goes off. Adam Copeland, Todd Husak, Tracy Sandler with you from Levi Stadium as the Niners move to 5-2. Tracy, I mean, did it feel like the locker room felt the impact from a leader standpoint of George Kittle?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, he's around anyway. We always act like the guys like get hurt and then they're just gone, but
they're
around. Still here.
But
like
he's not. Yeah. But it's not the same amount of around.
Sure,
it is because they're rehabbing and they're
not in the huddle. They're not part of the same.
Yeah,
they're at the meetings and whatnot. But yeah,
and they're not even in the locker room as much because again, they're rehabbing and all of that. So I think they definitely felt that. I think his presence changed the game, and I don't mean from even a culture standpoint, leadership standpoint. Sure, those things are great, but those aren't the things that are going to actually. Culture maybe, or they're going to win the football game. So I think his presence changed the game. I think it was good to have him back, and it was good timing in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think the addition when you lose a big emotional heartbeat player like Fred Warner to get one back like George Kittle, although in a different position and in a different unit, I think is just as important. In terms of players of the game, I mean, McCaffrey's the obvious one. Mm-hmm. He's shouldered the load. How long can he do it remains to be seen. They'll need other guys. They'll need big George Kittle performances, and we'll see. They got a tough opponent now in the Houston Texans, who do play, by the way, it'll be another short week opponent for the Niners, but they'll be on the road this time. It'll be a short week opponent as Houston plays tomorrow night. In terms of a player of the game, do you have anybody in mind besides Christian McCaffrey?
I'm going to say Tatum Bethune. I think he came in a very difficult situation with a lot of pressure, and I think what really struck me, especially in the post game, is really kind of how comfortable he is in his own skin, how confident he is, and that he understands that Fred Warner is one of one, and he's not trying to be Fred Warner. He's trying to be Tatum Bethune, the best Tatum Bethune he can be. And so I think he came in and played well. They were confident in him all week long. Kyle Shanahan last week after the game in Tampa, said right then, I'm very confident in Tatum Bethune, and now he's going to have to do it. So I'm going to give it to him.
What about you, Todd?
Bryce Huff. Played really well.
You took mine.
Sorry.
You ripped it right out from under me.
Tried
to be nice and let you go first, and you took it from me, dude.
Bryce Huff.
What you got for us?
In a game where we talked about getting Penix off his spot and creating a rush creating pressure with only 4, maybe 5, and it didn't get off to a good start. They had a 19. That is one of the longest drives in the NFL this season, I'm sure. 19-play drive. They weren't worn down. They came back, and I thought the defensive line played much better as the game went along. But creating that sack fumble, Niners get the ball back, kick the field goal before halftime. That his ability to get to the quarterback, and beat his player coming off the edge, kind of leans down, rips underneath, and gets the QB. They need more of that from him going forward, because that's going to be a gap to fill with Bosa going out. How are they getting pressure? He's the guy, and I thought that sack fumble was a big play tonight.
Absolutely. Changed momentum. And the offense has got to do a better job of maintaining momentum for the defense. This is something that I feel like has been not one thing lacking, but it is a game flow feel that is lacking this year, where the defense has done a really good job sometimes to a surprise point, to where you're like, okay, they got off the field on third down or a fourth down stop, or rarely they'll force a turnover, a sack fumble, something like that. And then the offense comes out and it's like quick 3 and out, or 4 plays, and they get 12 yards and they're done. They punt it back. You're like, get something going so the defense can sort of thrive off of that and lead to some direct points. Per Nick Wagner, just to follow up on the Bryce Huff numbers, who, by the way, is now up to 4 sacks on the season, second most in his entire career in a season. Wow. And we're only 7 games in. They pressured the Falcons' Michael Penix on 34% of his dropbacks. That's a season high for the Niners defense tonight. Didn't have Fred Warner, didn't have Nick Bosa. He was 1 for 10 for 9 yards under duress. This is per Nick Wagner, by the way, and he took 2 sacks. Bryce Huff had 5 of those pressures, Penix went 0 for 3 with a sack on a 3-yard scramble on those pressures from Huff. So they brought him in to be like the guy across Bosa. He's been just as good. He's been everything they could ask for, alongside and without him. So,
and I think you could actually say that for a lot of the guys that they brought in these roles that maybe they weren't supposed to be the guy, but they have really stepped up. You could say it. I think Chase Lucas, who's had his first start ever tonight, has been playing well, has made plays. He seems to be very good on fourth down. Yeah. That is a theme of his. Bryce Huff, I think that they've done a good job, and Larry was talking about the roster building and the depth. They've done a good job bringing guys in. Mac Jones, a great example, that maybe weren't meant to be the guy, but when they've had to step in and be the guy, are doing a good job at it.
Christian McCaffrey, as you pointed out, also 62% of the scrimmage yards tonight, the most of any player in any game for a team this season. So, yeah, he's the player of the game.
It's not sustainable, though. They are going to have to figure something out.
He's not. I don't think they can do that for all season, but we'll make those guys that we mentioned, Christian McCaffrey, Tatum Bethune, and Bryce Huff, our players of the game, sponsored by Casino Matrix. Just drop in for gaming, dining, and sports. Please. Oh, that's our player to bank on. My bad, dude. Our player of the game is sponsored by Bigelow Tea. Just forget I said that thing before. Sponsored by Bigelow Tea. Just grab a mug and tea proudly. Stop naming so many different things, player of whatever, and I won't mess them up. We'll take a quick break. When we come on back, John Dickinson joins us. Super reporter, boots on the ground here from Levi Stadium, where the Niners are 5-2 after a 20-10 win over the Falcons on the Sports Leader.
It was good. It was a good team win, and thought the defense played really well. The offensive line did great. We ran the ball well. George had a great impact in the run game. Obviously want to get him some more footballs here, but we'll get that going, and just glad to have George back out there and all those guys, and thought it was just a good old-fashioned win.
Mac Jones, just a good old-fashioned win. Good to have George out there and all those guys. That was it. That was who came back today, Mac. Adam Copeland, Todd Husak, Tracy Sandler, John Dickinson with us here from Levi Stadium, where the Niners beat the Atlanta Falcons 20-10. I don't know if I don't really know always how I feel about this Niner team, because we've been discussing it all season long, and we just were in the last segment or 2 segments ago with Kruger about what their identity is. And I feel like every week is a new team with a new season, because it's like every week, per Tracy's point in the pregame, they've lost somebody huge. So it's like, okay, how do they respond to the loss of this guy? How about this guy? No Brock, no Kittle, no Juwan Jennings, no Ricky Pearsall, no Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner. All of those guys have missed games this year, incidentally, right? And played in games this year. And they're 5-2. JD, what's the identity of the 2025 49ers?
A team that finds a way to win.
Yeah.
I mean, that
is that
really,
a good identity?
If you do it more than you don't. And
Yeah.
Nobody ever says that about teams that have like 6 wins. Like that team, what do they do well? They find ways. Yes, 6 times they've done it. Yeah.
I mean, they're 5-2, and I thought tonight was a great win. Again, independent of what you think of the Falcons. I mean, Todd, you were just saying it before we were coming on. I know, Copes, you're not impressed with Todd. You're like, man, I mean, they got a tight end, they got a wide receiver, they got a running back. Like, they've got some talent. The 49ers defense, to me, 2 things. The 49ers defense stands out. I mean, the scheme tonight, I mean, Robert Saleh, outstanding. There were times where the Falcons were moving it, but again, they did a lot of what they've done in the prior 6 games, which is they just win enough for the big moments to come out on top, and I thought they did that tonight. And then we talked about a pregame. This needed to be a better offensive line game, and I think it was a better offensive line game in terms of the run blocking. And then apparently George Kittle comes back, and that's it. Game on. All of a sudden McCaffrey's back too in terms of running the football. So those are the 2 things for me. Winning the big moment on defense, which is something I wasn't sure they would still be able to do without Fred Warner, because he's typically such a huge part of that. And they got a quality offensive line game and a quality Christian McCaffrey game.
And I think it's amazing they're able to do it offensively without a real deep threat, certainly at wide receiver, but they only threw the ball 1 time down the field, maybe past 10 yards, and it was a Demarcus Robinson drop on the deep ball. But the fact that defenses are still maybe respecting and playing some too high safety and not just focusing everything on Christian McCaffrey, I think you're going to see more and more teams do that and take their chances with our wideouts one-on-one.
I think you're right, and I think that's where potentially getting healthier at the wide receiver spot helps this team still be able to be explosive and have a threat in that manner. But yeah, I mean, hell of a win, 5-2. And now, I mean, this just kind of keeps everything going now in terms of, you take your chances at Houston, and you take your chances with the Giants, who didn't win that game.
Oh my God.
Dude, the Giants gave up 33 points they were leading 19-0 entering the fourth. They allowed 33 fourth quarter points and lost 33-32.
I think it was 26-14 or 7 when I walked
Dude,
out.
And the Giants kicker before the Broncos went almost the length of the field to kick the game-winning field goal, the Giants scored, and then they missed the extra point.
Yeah.
And their kicker, I forget what his name was. He was like a Madden creative player almost. It was like a something the video game itself spit out as like a generated player. It was kind of weird, and he was wearing number 99. I was like, what the hell's going on here? I was like, what's happening?
Sign.
I was like, I didn't feel good about any of it, dude. Then the Giants, here comes Bo Nix and his magic legs and his arm come down and end up kicking a field goal. Will Lutz wins it. So
I think it shows you winning is hard.
No doubt.
Gutting out a tough win without your top players on defense, it's not easy. And the 49ers have found different ways to get it done.
And even tonight, Tracy, I mean, it's Chase Lucas who's playing for Upton Stout, and it's you've got players. Luter was out there a lot because Renardo Green went down. Hennessy steps in because Brendel goes down. Tatum Bethune steps in without Fred Warner. I mean, they're all over the place. Mac Jones is still playing, and they're winning games in for Brock Purdy. I mean, all across the board, there are backup players that are stepping into bigger roles. and this team is still coming through and winning a lot of those big moments. That was another big theme, I thought, in the locker room post-game.
100%. I actually posed a question or said something before you got in here. I'd love your thoughts on it. Mac Jones, he's the 49ers backup. He's not a backup, in my opinion. I do not think he's playing like a backup quarterback who's doing well. I think he's playing really very well.
I mean, what was it, 50 starts coming into the year? Or his 50th start, I think, was his first start with the 49ers. So he had 49 starts with the Patriots and the Jags, and he's played really well. I mean, it's just he's avoided the big turnover, which I think was the big thing for the most part. And
he's 4-1, JD. I think he was like 1-5 or 2-4 as a starter or something last year. Like he really struggled.
He was in bad situations.
He just doesn't take anything too seriously. I mean, you got the clip coming in there. I mean, he's very secure, and the thing that came into my mind tonight from being in his press conference and watching a little bit of it back. I was helping to edit a little bit for the digital side. I see his personality, and I think, no wonder it didn't work with the Patriots.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that it can't work.
Right.
And that doesn't mean that it can't work. And this is just it's just a different style of locker room with a different head coach than a couple of the guys, including Belichick, who was his head coach, when he began his career. He just seems like a real loose, jovial, fun-loving, doesn't want to take himself or anything too seriously. And that's how he succeeds. And I feel like going back to his Patriots days, kind of looking back now, he was forced to be, I think, a person that he really wasn't in New England.
He's got that kind of goofball laugh about him, too. Like, he'll make a very dry joke, and then he'll break. Like, he doesn't have a build-up laugh. He just kind of bursts into a laugh.
He'll laugh before he'll answer the question.
He'll laugh, and then he'll come back. Yeah, he'll laugh. He had that one this week. Somebody asked him about, you look like you weren't moving around as well.
Branch asked him, and then he said, and the thing with you want to race. And actually,
he just started laughing.
Today, they talked about it today, and Mac Jones said to him, to Branch, I hope you can still be friends.
Yes.
I hope we can still be friends. After he broke a couple of nice runs today, did Mac Jones. Real quick, did you guys see the note on Mac, his incentive that he got today? Per Tom Pelissero on the contract that he signed with the Niners. Huge win for the depleted 49ers and quarterback Mac Jones, who earns a cool $400,000 incentive for his fourth win. So here's what happened. He got $100,000 per win in his incentive, but he had to get to 4 for it to vest.
So we got all four.
Once he hit the fourth win, he got all other 4. So this game was worth $400,000 to Mac Jones.
He was motivated.
And, by the way, he'll get $100,000 for every other win that he gets where he plays like a certain percentage of the snaps.
Wow.
Good for him.
That's fantastic.
He's earning a lot more money by playing well. He's going to get a big contract at the end of his season with the Niners.
Yeah.
And his numbers weren't great, 17 to 26 for 150. He made that throw to Christian McCaffrey on the long third down late in the game. And if you watch the replay, he moves the middle linebacker with his eyes. He looks down the middle. That linebacker, as soon as that linebacker shifted his hips to the left, he came and threw that ball right off his hip to Christian McCaffrey. Perfect throw on the money. I thought he did that a number of times. He missed the throw a little bit behind Juwan Jennings and tipped up in the air. That led to the interception. But for the most part, quick decisions, made the right calls, and was accurate. And then, late scramble. We don't see that much from Mac Jones, but I thought overall his decision-making was quick. He was accurate. We haven't seen much on the deep ball from him. And that's probably an area where he can improve. But he was efficient and 9 for 15 on third downs tonight for the 49ers as a team.
He shakes off mistakes too.
Yeah,
he hasn't had the catastrophic one, but he has thrown some interceptions and he's been able, Tracy, to shake those off as well.
He has, and he is pretty self-deprecating. I remember I think in his first start, he made the comment. He said, "It's not like the guy made a great play. I threw it right to him."
I threw it right to him. I think it was in the preseason. That preseason game, wasn't it?
It was his first start.
Was it the first start?
That was
New Orleans.
That was New Orleans. Right? Yeah, I didn't make a great throw.
Yeah.
And then he said today, he was asked about feeling better and his body feeling better in practice, and he said, really, something to the effect of what hurt the most is when I had to tackle the guy after he got the interception. Like, he's funny. He's really funny, and yeah, I think he's been great. I think he's been great for them. I think he fits in really well in the locker room, and that you're right, JD. That personality, it just wasn't gonna work.
The third down play, the throw, Christian McCaffrey was coming out of the game.
Yeah.
and they figured out, hey, he needs to be in the game. What happens if he ends up not being in the game in that situation?
Well, Todd and I were just been talking about how we were like kind of counting his touches at that point. We're like laughing out loud about the number of touches.
No, go in there, because this is
McCaffrey. He started to jog back off after he touched it like 3 straight times, and Todd, as soon as he caught it, Todd out loud goes, McCaffrey again. Yeah. McCaffrey every time.
Every time.
Well, Mac Jones flat out said tonight, I just pretty much throw it to McCaffrey.
Well, that's
easy.
I mean, that's the thing. That's the joke. I mean, I always joke they have 2 plays. It's get the ball to McCaffrey, and then McCaffrey go get the ball.
Yeah, and it's so true.
And when they get in any kind of a tight spot,
interception,
that's exactly what they do. And the running game go. Chase Lucas got to get a nod.
Yes.
For the PBU that could have been a pick 6.
Mm-hmm.
And Bryce Huff was the other key play of the game, the sack fumble there as well. But great win. Now they'll back on the road for a couple more.
John Dickinson, Adam Copeland, Todd Husek, Tracy Sandler with you from Levi Stadium. Got to take a quick break. We'll get to the drive of the game when we come on back, and then our final thoughts as we sign off here in about 12 minutes or so at the bottom of the hour. Adam Copeland, Tracy Sandler, Todd Husek, John Dickinson. The Niners win it 20-10 over the Falcons, only here on the Sports Leader.
Christian McCaffrey has carried the load tonight, that he stands behind Mac Jones. Now Kyle Juszczyk shifts, I formation. Jones takes and gives. Christian cuts it up inside, backpedaling his way, pushing. They got him in! Braun up front for the Niners tonight. A touchdown, maybe to put it away.
Christian McCaffrey's second touchdown of the game, and we'll make that our drive of the game today, as the 49ers at that point put the game away, went up 20-10, and never looked back. Niners end up winning it 20-10. The drive of the game is sponsored by El Cerrito Honda, more than just a car dealership. We're family. Adam Copeland, Todd Husek, Tracy Sandler from Levi Stadium, where the Niners have won it 20-10. I mean, that was the drive we were just talking about. Mm-hmm. Christian McCaffrey, the 17-yard grab on the 3rd and 13. And then, Tracy, how about him moving the pile like that? I mean, that's a keep those legs moving stay in bounds, bleed that clock, put it away type of run.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. And Max said all I could do was sit back there and yell, push, push, push.
Like he was in a Lamaze class or something. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
What's he doing, man?
Because you can totally see him doing it too.
Yeah.
Push. But it was fantastic. Christian McCaffrey is tremendous. I mean, he really is. He is absolutely tremendous. It's just how lucky they are to have him. And it's even thinking in 2022 when they got him in about week 6, because it was a couple weeks before the trade deadline, their offense didn't run that well until he got here.
No.
He is such a key to this, and they need to protect him at all costs.
Todd, you just sent me a note on Christian McCaffrey. I'll read this tweet, and then you can just give me your reaction. Todd just sent me this tweet. It said, players with 450 rushing yards and 450 receiving yards in their first 7 games of a season. Christian McCaffrey has done it in 2025, and Marshall Faulk did it back in the year 2000. He won the MVP. I mean, we know now. I mean, back then, running backs could win the MVP. Sean Alexander won it. LaDainian Tomlinson won it. Running backs could do it. Now, the MVP has most purely become best quarterback on best team. It's getting really hard with a team that doesn't have one quarterback to think of a reason why Christian McCaffrey is not an MVP candidate and not just an offensive player of the year, because it's different than his offensive player of the year season.
Yeah.
This is him putting a team on his back for 981 total scrimmage yards now on the season.
It's bananas.
Todd, your thoughts?
I mean, he's fun to watch, and I think he does it in so many different ways. It's not just screens from the running back. He's in the slot. He's running routes. He's run comeback routes. I mean, he is a tough matchup for any defense as a wide receiver. And then in the run game, it's tosses to the outside.
Yeah.
It's between the tackle, power runs. It's following use check. He does so many different things so well. And the 49ers, without him,
Oh,
do they have 2 wins? Probably not. I mean, he has been the heart and soul of not just the offense, but I think the entire team with all of the injuries that have gone on around him. Without him, this is a much different 49er team.
and that's almost even more impressive because everybody knows, everyone in the stadium, everyone on the field knows that most of the time it's going to Christian McCaffrey one way or the other, and he's still getting it done.
It's pretty incredible. Per Nick Wagner, one more stat here. Tonight, it's his 4th career 200 yards from scrimmage game. Hasn't had one as a 49er. First time ever as a Niner.
Wow.
First time since 2019 with the Carolina Panthers. And that was his 1,000th year. So pretty incredible. We'll take a quick break. When we come on back, we'll give you our final thoughts on this one. The Niners are 5-2 behind an all-time performance. That note should tell you right there from Christian McCaffrey. More to come from Levi Stadium, only here on the Sports Leader.
I was pleased just how much of a team effort it was. We thought we had to win that game a certain way. I mean, even last night talking about how we felt we needed to run the ball, definitely. I challenged the team saying I'd like to get 40 runs called, but that's not just an offensive thing. In order to do that, you got to play defense like we did tonight. You got to play special teams like we did tonight, and to be able to then allow us to pull that off, it's huge.
Voice of 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan following the 20-10 victory over the Atlanta Falcons. The Niners moved to 5-2. Adam Copeland, Tracy Sandler, Todd Husak with you, getting ready to sign off from Levi Stadium. Just some final thoughts here, Tracy. We'll start with you. Wherever you want to go with this one, what you learned about this team, what you feel about this game, if it changed the scope going forward, do we think that they're capable of more than we thought coming in? Did they grow up? What did you see today, and what are your final thoughts as we'll move on to Week 8?
I think they did grow up. I think that's a good way to put it. I think these young guys have had to grow up fast, and they've answered the call, so to speak. They are a resilient team. They've been a resilient team all year long. You know, last year they found ways to grasp defeat from the jaws of victory, and this year they're doing it the absolute opposite. And the different ways every week, I don't think is a bad thing, assuming they can keep doing it. So I think, we'll see. They have 2 weeks until the trade deadline. I mean, it's not that far away, and we will see where they are. They are for sure playoff contenders. They're not going to play any teams during the season, at least that right now on paper are the powerhouses of the 4 teams we talked about earlier: the Rams, the Lions, the Eagles, and who was our 4th?
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers. Yep. These poor Buccaneers. Everybody forgets them, and they're like the best one by far.
5-1.
And they're 5-1 and probably the best team in the NFL right now. But they're figuring it out, and they are tremendously well coached, and I don't think that can be overstated.
What about you, Todd?
Next 2 games on the road. Like 6 of their first 9 games will be on the road. That seems unfair. And tough teams. Texas. I feel like maybe the Titans and the Dolphins, but there's not any gimmies out there. Like I do think, to your point, the different ways they can beat you. All right, if you're going to play up and make us throw it 50 times, we can do that. Mm-hmm. If you're going to play a little softer, we can attack the line of scrimmage, win at the point of attack. We can do on defense and man and zone. I mean, they're great coaches on staff. They come up with great strategies, but then they implement it. And not just the starters. We've seen it time and time again with the backups coming in, and there's not a big drop-off. I mean, they are so well coached, and they've created a culture, I think, this year is a little bit different than last year, where JD has said that. Like this locker room, this team just feels different, even with all of the injuries. They have not fallen apart. They're coming out playing super hard. Their defense was great. I mean, I'm sure a handful of teams that you lose your 2 best players on defense, especially your emotional leader, and the play just falls off. Like we don't have the guys, or we're not. They were prepared. They played really hard, and they had a bunch of new faces step in and play like winners. And so I'm excited about this team. I think they have something special and a chance to make some noise. I'm a believer. I think especially once they get some players back offensively and they're at full strength, I think we're going to see a better offense and a more potent offense, and they can win that way too. They can throw it down the field and make big plays.
I'm excited about what's to come, because everybody says, well, it's an opportunity for these young guys. But when you see a game like this immediately following injuries like that, you go, wow, there was an opportunity, and there were some young guys who came up and they seized it. That excites me. And the thing I think I'll probably think about a lot tonight and getting into the show tomorrow, 2:00 right here on the Sports Leader Dungeon, Dirty Work with myself and Derek Papa and Tim Webb. Little plug for you. I think I'll be thinking a lot about the Christian McCaffrey performance. Like, I've been saying this since he was traded here. He's the best player I've ever seen, because getting to watch a guy like this or cover him like this close all the time, seeing everything that he does, like, it's really incredible when you watch a player, especially like in baseball. You see the guys every day, so you know them better than other teams. But even when it's a player like this, like what he's capable of doing and what he does week in and week out, the beating that we talk about him taking regularly, still putting up performances like this at his age after a season that he misses almost entirely with bilateral Achilles tendonitis. Like, I thought about this a lot at the end of Barry Bonds' career. I try to put myself in these moments with big-time, all-time players, and we don't talk about it enough in football, because players seem so disposable in the NFL. He's an all-time talent, and we should be cherishing the moments that we get to watch of Christian McCaffrey like this, because you never know when the last one is the last one, right? And when you see things like injuries to Fred Warner, you want to make sure you're relishing these moments. And it's why getting a title with these guys in this core seems so important. So hats off to Christian McCaffrey, to the young defense today. We'll be back with you, or I'll be back with you tomorrow, 2 to 6, all week long with Derek and Tim on The Sports Leader right here. You can check out Dirty Work. We'll catch up with Kyle Shanahan for his weekly conversation on Thursday. You guys will join me again for our next home game back here in, I don't know, like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Levi Stadium. Todd's pissed.
See you in November.
Todd hates this. Yeah.
It's November 9th.
Happy Halloween, guys. I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys November 9th for our next home game. I'll be back with you Sunday at 7 a.m. with John Dickinson for the Niners and the Houston Texans. Until then, thanks to the guys back in the studio who did all the work today. Kyle Haar, our guy Chips McCarthy, who was editing. Tim, who always does a great job for us here. Tim Webb, our producer here on site. And then thanks to JD and to Larry Kruger, who stopped by. For Tracy Sandler, Todd Husak, and Adam Copeland, reminding you the Niners have beaten the Falcons 20-10. They are 5-2, only here on The Sports Leader.